Is Trump walking into big trouble? Headlines: assassination attempt and drone attack on President Trump's inauguration day. Inauguration move inside for safety. As we enter the golden era after the inauguration, what will the two beasts of the book of Revelation in chapter 13 plan to do? Let us set up the foundation of study today in Daniel chapter 2, from Babylon to America to the second coming of Christ. Welcome, dear friends. This is TIBP Live. Kindly share and like this timely prophecy update to all. Daniel chapter 2 verse 28. But there is a God in heaven that reveals secrets to us. Donald Trump, using his mugshot look for his inauguration portrait. There was a press conference where a new assassination attempt was made on Donald Trump. President Trump visited Jimmy Carter's casket in the Capitol Runda, and they went to Jimmy Carter's funeral. The next day, President Trump stood there and the casket lies in state as they say their prayers in the middle. Did you know that a man tried to kill Trump? That day, police stops and arrests man with a machete and knives. Security screen. And look at this, what he's tried to do. Man with machete and 3 knives was arrested in U.S. Capitol building shortly before Trump was expected to meet with Senate Republicans. The greatest threat to our security capital. Police just revealed that 2 lone actors tried to disrupt the Carter funeral where Trump was attending. One was caught trying to bring knives and a machete, and the other was caught trying to explode their own car. Former Secret Service Dan Bonino sounding the alarm on the threat of drone attack in the inauguration day. You think that the Secret Service is prepared for this? The threat is real. Should Trump cancel the traditional ceremonies and just get sworn in?
Is going to happen. It is, whether it happens in Times Square or someone else, it is going to happen. And there are people in charge who have wasted time. They've wasted time targeting Americans with MAGA hats, evil white supremacists around every corner, and they have not thought through the threat of a swarm of drones taking out a crowd of people or taking out one of our protectees with an inauguration right around the corner, and Donald Trump not able to do anything about it. Chinese drone firm DJI eliminates the automatic no-fly zones 1 week before Trump's inauguration. That is an amazing coincidence. What does that mean? Folks, for those of you who operate drones, in these FAA restricted areas, there were certain built-in automated features which made it extremely difficult for you to fly that drone into an area the FAA says don't fly there, i.e. like over the inauguration.
Newsweek.com says Marjorie Taylor Greene says her plane rerouted amid drone activity. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Georgia Republican, reported potential drone activity near the White House after her flight into Washington's Reagan National Airport was redirected on last Monday. According to Greene's post on X, formerly Twitter, her plane's pilot announced a route change due to unauthorized drone activity near the White House before landing. The lawmaker has previously accused the government of withholding information about the mysterious drones and said she did not believe the official communications from the government. China's top drone maker removes security features at a very weird time. DJI has ended enforced no-fly zones in U.S. market. As the inauguration day is approaching, DJI can now fly into the White House. President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration is expected to be moved indoors Monday due to dangerously cold temperatures projected in the nation's capital. Explains what it could mean for thousands of traveling to DC to see the ceremony. People say that's because there's a threat, a drone threat attack on the inauguration, and the president must be safe inside. The big question also, dear friends, is what can we expect to happen between the land beast and the sea beast of prophecy as we enter the golden era? Let us step back and see the signs. Revelation 13 verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? After surviving 2 impeachments, numerous federal and state indictments, civil lawsuits, and 2 assassination attempts, Donald Trump has won his second term as president in one of the most amazing and unlikely comebacks in U.S. political history. In Florida, Trump assured supporters that America had entered a golden age and promised to return the country to its former splendor and supremacy. In Florida, Trump assured supporters that America had entered into a golden age and promised to return the country to its former splendor and supremacy this January 2025. Question, dear friends, prophecy students, what comes into your mind when they say golden age, an era of gold in Bible prophecy? That is none other than the time of Babylon. Do you know the prophecy of Daniel chapter 2 and Daniel chapter 3? Let me prove to you that God has revealed to us a specific area of gold. An era where Babylon is ruling. An era whereby an image of forced worship was erected. An era where we see a minority group of people standing up for the truth of God's word and the majority receiving the mark of Babylon. Could it be that this inauguration, this new president, could it be that this new golden age, new era that we are entering after the inauguration is headed towards the mark of the beast? The creepy sounding movement called Project 2025 is just around the corner, and we have to buckle up, dear friends. Prophecies fast fulfilling. The Pope heavily criticized Trump before, but now seeks to unite with him in alliance. Key papal aide says Vatican will seek dialogue with Trump November 7, 2024. Despite conflicts with Pope Francis on matters ranging from immigration and climate crisis, the Vatican official has said that during his new term, Rome intends to seek dialogue, recognizing that the United States has an important role in avoiding that the conflicts currently underway in the world. He said it's necessary to find solution. The papacy have been touring the world and has successfully have world leaders sign fraternal documents. Will he ask Trump to sign fraternal documents and enforce Vatican policies by law? Let us study prophecy now, and let us build biblical solid foundation. And God will send his message through the prophet Daniel. Daniel 2 verse 29. As for you, O king, thoughts came to your mind while on your bed about what would come to pass after days. And he who reveals secrets has made known to you what will be. But he awoke from his dream. He couldn't remember what he had dreamed. So he called all of the wise men of Babylon together to tell him his dream, that were unable. Nebuchadnezzar was furious with these deceivers for not knowing the dream and commanded that they be killed. But news reached the prophet Daniel and asked the king to give him time so that God of heaven, the real God of heaven, might give him the interpretation. In a vision, God revealed to Daniel what Nebuchadnezzar had dreamed. God never fails us in a time of need. When we rely on God, man will sometimes fail us, as man failed Nebuchadnezzar, but God will never fail us. The secret, dear friends, the greatest secret is the future. Only God knows the future. And if you have placed your hands and confidence in the hands of God, your future is secured. What was King Nebuchadnezzar's dream? Daniel 2 verse 31. O king, you were watching, and behold, a great image This great image whose splendor was excellent stood before you, and its form was awesome. The image's head was of fine gold, its chest and arms of silver, its belly and thighs of bronze, its legs of iron, it's partly of iron and partly of clay. You watch, while a stone was cut without hands, which struck the image on his feet of iron and clay and broke them in pieces. And the stone that struck the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth. Daniel came to the king and said, "This is the dream." Daniel told the king in Daniel 2 verse 30, "You are the head of gold." So the golden head in this metallic image represents King Nebuchadnezzar and his kingdom. He ruled from 605 BC to 539 BC. Ancient Babylon was the golden empire of a golden era. They lavished their buildings with gold. There were over 200 gold dome temples within the walls of Babylon. Inside the city of Babylon, where the Hanging Gardens is, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the river Euphrates flowed right through the heart of Babylon. The walls of Babylon were impregnable, so Nebuchadnezzar thought that Babylon would last forever. Babylon only lasted for 66 years. For about 66 years, 605 BC to 539 BC, do you know that according to history, which kingdom succeeded Babylon? That was the kingdom Medo-Persia, and then conquered by Alexander the Great, the thighs of bronze, and then the iron legs, that the fourth kingdom of iron, the iron monarchy, ruled from 168 to 476 AD. Rome, of course, was ruling when Jesus came into this world. Jesus was condemned by a Roman governor, crucified by Roman soldiers, divided his clothes, and guarded the stone. Of course, the Pharisees were the ones started it. But when Jesus died on the cross, He died for us. The Bible tells us in John 3 verse 16, "For God so loved the world, that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish but have everlasting life." When Jesus died on the cross, He splits all history. Jesus Christ is the center of history and the theme of prophecy. He is the desire of ages, the Alpha and the Omega, the Rose of Sharon, the Lily of the Valley, and He is our great hope. What kingdom conquered Rome? We know that history was from history that Rome was simply divided, and that division is symbolized by the mixture of clay and iron. What does the mixing of the clay and iron in the feet represents? The union of church and state. Daniel 2 verse 43, "As you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay, they will not mingle with the seed of man, but they will not adhere to one another. Just as iron does not mix with clay, they will mingle with the seed of man." That's intermarriage. Many of the crown heads in Europe were intermarried, trying to form alliance, but the Bible said they will not stick together, just like you cannot weld iron and clay. We can see that God knows the future. World history proves the fact. History has followed the outline of prophecy, exactly how Daniel chapter 2 have predicted. But there's one more event to take place. And what is that? "And in the days of these kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever." The rock, dear friends, represents Christ's eternal kingdom. For they drank that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. Why did the rock become a great mountain according to Daniel chapter 2? And we see in scripture that mountains represents kingdoms. We can see that from this prophecy and from the current world events, Trump's inauguration, and all of the signs that will happen after this. We are not living in the head of gold. We are not living in the chest and arms of silver. We are not living in the time of Medo-Persia. We are living in the toenails of Bible prophecy, ready to topple off into eternity we are living in the latter days. Even many scientists and secular people believe that we are nearing the end. John chapter 14, let not your heart be troubled. I will come again. There is one more event to take place in the prophecy of Daniel 2, the coming of the rock. Dear friends, I believe that we will be entering the golden era, reviving modern Babylon, and world leaders will unite, even Protestants. They will forsake the commandments of God. They will trample against the Sabbath and introduce the image of the beast. The history of Daniel will be repeated, and we are a foot forward, but God will have representatives of His word, people that fully surrender to Jesus and His commandments. Let us make heart preparations today. Are you ready, dear friends? Kindly type in the comment section, everyone, all together, I reject modern Babylon. I reject modern Babylon. Is this your decision, dear friends? May the Lord bless you and continue to preach truth found in Bible prophecy.